This is the last section of chapter 1. We're solving for absolute value inequalities. Just to bring up absolute value means whatever's on the inside of there, like the absolute value of 4, you get 4. The absolute value of a negative 4 is also 4. As you can see, two numbers can be placed inside of there and you still get the same answer. So whenever you're dealing with absolute value, you need two solutions. So remember that. So how do you get your two solutions? I like putting a bar here to show that you're going to have two solutions. One is 3x minus 2 is equal to 8. Without the absolute value sign, it looks identical to the one up there. And the second one is going to be 3x minus 2. Notice that the 3x minus 2 stays the same. The only thing that changes is the 8 to a negative 8, because all I did was change the 4 to a negative 4. So the only thing that changes is the right hand side from an 8 to a negative 8. And now we're going to solve. You get 3x equals 10 because I added 2 to both sides. X equals 10 thirds. I add 2 to both sides. I'm going to get 3x equals a negative 6. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. X equals a negative 2. This is not inequalities. These are just equals. So all you do is put a closed dot. Here's 0. A negative 2 is approximately right here. 10 thirds is the same thing as 3 and 1/3, which is about right here. You don't shade, you just put closed circles on those two spots. So if it's just an equal sign, you just put closed circles. Okay, the next one, now we're doing the inequalities. I'm going to draw a bar. You're going to put 3 minus 2t down twice because that left-hand side never changes. You keep it as 3 minus 2t. You copy the first one down so that it looks like the first one without the absolute value. Remember, the 5 changes to a negative 5, but whenever you're dealing with inequality, its sign changes too. Notice that the 3 minus 2t does not change. The inequality sign changes, and the number on the right changes. That's what changes when you do absolute value. Now we're going to solve for t. We're going to subtract 3 to both sides. You're going to get a negative 2t is less than 2. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. T, notice I divided by a negative number, and since I divided by a negative number, I have to switch the sign. 2 divided by a negative 2 is a negative 1. Subtract 3 here, subtract 3 here. I'm going to have a negative 2t is greater than a negative 8. I divide both sides by a negative 2. T, again, I divided by a negative 2, so I have to switch my sign to less than. A negative 8 divided by a negative 2 is a positive 4. When I graph it, I'm going to put 0 here, 4 is about right there, and a negative 1 is about there. Notice that there is no lines underneath these two, so they're open circles. And the 4 you need to shade in this direction, and the negative 1 you need to shade in this direction. So that's what your number line looks like. You have to state interval notation, and you always start here. So the first number you hit is a negative 1 with a parenthesis to a positive 4 with a parenthesis. Okay, do we only have 2 pages? Nope, we have a few more here. So this is an important one. Before you can break it up, you have to get the absolute value alone first. 2x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 5. You have to get the absolute value alone before you can break it up. So I subtracted 3 first. Do you notice that this is alone? Once it's alone, you can break it up. One is gonna be 2x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 5, exactly the way it's written up there. The other one is gonna be 2x minus 1 is less than or equal to a negative 5. You rewrite it, the inequality sign changes, and the number changes to its opposite. Now we're gonna solve for x. 2x, you're gonna add 1, you're gonna add 1 is gonna be greater than or equal to 6. Divide by 2, x is greater than or equal to 3. On this one, you're gonna add 1, you're gonna add 1, 2x is less than or equal to a negative 4, divide by 2, divide by 2, x is less than or equal to a negative 2. I do not change the sign. I divided by a positive number, not a negative number. I'm gonna make myself a number line. I know we have 3 as one answer and a negative 2 is the other answer. Do you notice that there's lines underneath them? So they're both closed. A negative 2 you have to shade to the left, and a positive 3 you have to shade to the right. And then I just state my interval notation. A negative infinity to a negative 2 bracket and 3 to infinity. Just a reminder, I taught you that your arrows either go away from each other or they come together like that. I have never shown you one that looks like this, that go in the same direction. You're doing something wrong if they go in the same direction like that. This is a good one. There's an absolute value and it's set it equal to a negative 2. Everybody see that? If you have an absolute value and your answer over there is already a negative 2, it's a no solution. You can't do it. So keep that in mind. Same thing with this one. Don't worry about the negative. If it's an absolute value, then it's a no solution. So don't worry about it. So, okay, that's all for 1.7.